some of the hottest cars New York has ever seen. From dropping some of the hottest voices rappers ever heard. From the dope spot with the smoke, fleeing the murder scene, you know me well. From nightmares of a lonely cell, my only hell. But since when y'all brothers know me to fail? Heck no, we're all my brothers with the rubber grips for shots. And if you with me, mama, rub on your tits and whatnot. I'm from the school of the hard knocks. You must not let outsiders violate our box in my plot. Let's stick up the world and split it 50-50, Let's take the dough and stay real taking, And set the Chris and get pissy, flowing beneath me like the memory of my brother Biggie, baby. You know it's hell when I come through. The life and times of Sean Carter, brother, volume 2. Y'all brothers get ready. It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Instead of treated, we get tricked. Instead of kisses, we get kicked. It's the hard knock life. It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Instead of treated, we get tricked. Instead of kisses, we get kicked. It's the hard knock life. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd. No barking from the dog, no small. And mama cooked the breakfast with no haul. I got my glove on, but didn't dig out. Finally got a call from a girl I wanna dig out. Hooked it up for later as I hit the door, thinking, will I live another 24? I gotta go cause I got me a drop top, and if I hit the switch I can make the ass drop. Had to stop at a red light, looking in my mirror, not a jacker in sight, and everything is alright. I got a beat from Kim and she can fuck all night. Called up the homies and I'm asking y'all, which fuck are y'all playing? Still on the court and I'm troubled. Last week fucked around and got a triple-double. Freaking nigga every way like MJ. I can't believe a day was a good day. Shit. I can't believe today was a good day.
According to the Wall Street Journal, the agency informed the NASDAQ and the CBOE that BlackRock and Fidelity's proposals are insufficient.
We can make the dollar the most attractive currency by continuing to have the rule of law.
You always print money to do that.
I suppose it would diminish our status as the reserve currency.
Just shut up. There's no expectation of privacy above me in the sky.
So Bitcoin is the solution because you can buy Bitcoin right.
Hey, how's it going? Max, where'd you go?
I'm right here with you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to finally introduce the one and only Crypto Otaku. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
In the flesh, yes.
How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing great. Look at that. Bitcoin's still sitting at 63.5. How are you doing, Max?
Not too shabby. Glad to have Crypto Otaku with us, guys. I've been listening to his program, driving down the road in the background. Sometimes, just taking a little break, having a snack, watch on my phone. And this guy passionately talks about some of the nitty gritty and also the TNA. And you know what? I said to myself, that guy grinds so hard and he'll perform like if he has 200 people watching him or he has 2 people watching him. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I have nothing but respect for people like this. Naturally, you're passionate about this, and you have an amazing multi-camera setup. Like to formally welcome you. So glad to have you, man.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you did have me, man. I've been watching your stream for years. It's crazy. You got me through the bear market. You instilled my my growing sentiment for JASMY, and yeah, I mean, you were there when others were not, especially the big influencers, man. No one is still talking about JASMY like they should be.
I appreciate that recognition, and like I mentioned, I had no idea that you were a fan. You were even watching through the thick and thin, and the old channel and so on. So
Yep.
so glad to have you here. What we're gonna do first, guys, is obviously welcome some of you. This is a little bit different compared to the traditional format, but I mean, how cool to get all these awesome cameras. He's old school. He's got arcade. I lived at the arcade back in the day. I mean, that was my thing. I mean, if you wanted the best graphics back in the especially in the 90s, you had to go to the arcade. So we're gonna
certainly did. I actually was an
Oh, yeah?
arcade tech coming right out of high school.
Awesome. Well, what we're going to do now is recognize some comments. Let's start off with the one and only Tim Shea, who sprays from far away, having everybody hit the DECK, representing the 589th District XRP Army and his fellow constituents, the Mayor of Crypto, the Crypto Commissioner, Mr. Tim Shea in the house. Glad to have you guys here today. And yes, Tim Shea, yes, he always gets an intro because he's been here since the beginning, and that's how it goes. Anyway.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's how it goes. Not everybody gets a custom intro like that. But anyway, what I was going to state is, guys, please smash the like, share the program with others, give us a follow on both YouTube and X. I will give him a plug here in a second, but we're going to get into some of the community comments. We got Francisco Dennis Leal in the house. He says, hello, everyone. Hello, is it Francisco you're looking for? Lionel Richie, good to have you here today, sir. Kevin Kiesler is in the house. Hey, Mad Max, Crypto Fam. Yes, good to see you, Kevin. Dumb Money in the house. He says, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y? Yeah. All right. Greg Beatty. Good day, mate. How it's going? Good to see you, man. All right. Corbin in the house. I'm finally catching the live. Well, welcome to the live. And what a time to connect with special guest, the one and only Crypto Otaku. Okay. All right. We also got Just Forfeit. Hey, man. Good to see you. I saw you on another program with somebody else's channel a while back. That was cool. So glad to have you here. Just Forfeit, but don't forfeit your crypto. Self-custody all the way. Check out the Decent wallet if you guys need a discount. Links in the description. We got Big Homie Roach in the house. He says, what up, brother? Let's go. Hey, man, like the look. Hippity hip-hop. You don't stop a rocking to the bang, bang, boogie, the upchuck, the boogie to the whatever beat. We got freaking Crypto Otaku in the house, and he's got more camera angles than you can sit down on your seat, right? I don't know. Something like that. Let's go further down. Let's welcome Brittany in the house. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Ms. Brittany. Barry says, woo, BSV content. I know, it's been a while, has it not? Some of you guys probably wondering, like, Max ever going to cover BSV again? It's just that sometimes other ones kind of take the cake, but there was a big update today. We'll get into that update. We got a lot to get into. It's going to be a great show. I see that we're scaling up. Thank you for doing that. Let's read this comment from Goo. Goo got in the house. He says, yo, my brother, you have to check out QT DAO. It's a quantum computing DAO. Awesome. For of its kind, definitely worth a minute or two. Check out the website. Okay, I'll try to remember that when I watch the replay. Let's also go further down into the comments just for a brief moment. JASMY, not the scam. Let's go. Yes, definitely not a scam. Richie Rich in the house. He says, hey, Max, saying hello to you, brother. Richie Rich. And look at that coin. That is cool, man. I like that. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give a plug to our special guest, Crypto Otaku's channel. Here it basically is. Let's go ahead and share this real quick. And here is his channel. This is a YouTube channel. We're going to full screen this. So give him a follow. At the very least, he should be hitting at least 100 subscribers. That's a milestone. I remember when I did that. It is a big milestone. Help support our fellow brothers in this space. We're going to refresh this multiple times through the stream. I'd like to see him scale up to 100. Guys, I mean, come on.
I'd be ecstatic, man. We just hit 100 live streams I got last night.
Absolutely. So it's at the Crypto Otaku. Do you prefer Otaku or Otaku?
Otaku.
Otaku. Okay, gotcha. All right. So crypto otaku. Otaku. Just be not the scum. Let's go. All right.
Exactly.
So you want to check that out. He's done he hasn't uploaded videos for a while, but he does a live stream. Just take a moment to talk about your live streams.
Yeah, pretty much every weekday currently I do a live stream 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much just kind of diving into the dystopian future. That is, of course, yours truly. This world, and crypto is going to be the one to run it. So, yeah, we have a kind of a dystopian future narrative, kind of going over like what's the future, where's the technology headed, and yeah, just kind of like opening everyone's eyes to what AI and what cryptocurrency is headed, where we're headed, and particularly what science fiction and anime has predicted for us. So I'd like to push that narrative as well.
Awesome.
Because nothing's stranger than fiction, right? And fiction eventually becomes reality.
No doubt. So yeah, give him a follow over on his channel. I'm just going to go ahead and actually reshare this. So I have to do that again. So here it is, just in case you guys missed it. Crypto attack. Oh, excuse me, Otaku. All right, there it is. Yes, and then there it is right there. He also has an X because X gonna give it to you. And forget waiting on your own. Crypto Otaku is gonna give it to you and deliver it to you. So here he is at the Crypto Otaku. And it says, embrace the crypto chaos with the Crypto Otaku. Streaming live every day, fighting for your financial freedom in the dystopian future. Let's help him scale up on that as well. But basically speaking, let's come back out of the frame. And we are going to add you back in. There he is. And thank you for Tim Shea for sharing that on YouTube. We really do appreciate that. So what we're going to do first, guys, is simply, get back into this. And it's like this, all right? So we have been seeing a lot of pain lately. I don't look at it as being pain. I look at like there's reason that I don't just have one job, that I have multiple jobs, or I can, try to stack. And on top of that, not feel like I have to struggle so much just to pay some darn bills. But here's the thing. Whether you work 1, 2, however many jobs, a lot of guys are also stacking. And my thing is recognizing these prices, but did you already recognize it? And if anything, where are we going from here? So let's give you an idea real quick. We're going to give a shout out to the guy who's not on the program right now. It is Jesse of KIR Finance. He posted this about roughly an hour ago. I'm going to share this on the screen as well. And the reason why I'm doing this is because he has a buy signal. And none of this is financial advice, but we're going to take a look into this just to kind of give you guys an idea about this. So check this out. I mean, we're going to also put it up on the other screen. It's a little bit bigger for you. You see it plain as day. And he talks about this buy signal. And this is where he has highlighted this. You guys know me. I'm not really so much of a TNA guy. So I'm really glad to have somebody like Otaku on our platform, special guest. So my thing is this. Before we jump really, really into it, Mr. Otaku, okay? What are your thoughts in regards to, some of the key findings? And then, of course, before we get into the whole thing of sharing what's going on in the market, sharing this investor place report, what have you gathered so far?
It's a bit of a mess out there lately, right? I mean, we just had an assassination attempt on our previous president. We have Bitcoin Nashville in next week coming around the corner, and the halving's already over. I mean, there's so many positive narratives. Well, if our president stays in shape and we don't have any large macro events like a civil war breakout or something, along that lines. But yeah, currently with Bitcoin's trend, let me see if I can get my chart up. I don't know if can I share that? I think I can share it. Oh yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yep. So yeah, this is how we do things here on my channel anyway. So yeah, I'm not too much of a trading guy, right? So I pretty much just kind of play everything in the larger scale. We're long-term investors here. And if you look back, again, we're still trying to break out of this longer descending pattern. It's been going on for what now? Like 3 months. We go back in the 4-hour chart. There it is. There it is. So we still have to break out of 70,000, right? Once we get out of 70,000, we're kind of testing again new all-time highs, trying to retain the previous levels. And 69K is still, I still think 69K is still going to be the struggle to break out of, just because there's just so much history there, right? I mean, you saw last time, but when we went back into 69K last time, we were up there like 4 or 5 times. We touched it 5 times.
Right.
So I still think we're going to sit up there for a little while. I mean, unless Trump literally comes out and says we're going to back the dollar with Bitcoin, which, take that with a grain of salt. What that's going to happen, with Bitcoin on that. That could go 2 different narratives, 2 different ways, good or bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at long term. Just again trying to retest, break out of 70K, see if we can even get to 69 and hold 69. But yeah, I think we just kind of have to wait for this to play out. I mean, we've got pretty much, this large action happening after the assassination attempt, which kind of rallied crypto for a bit, and of course Bitcoin. But we've had a lot of pullbacks right now with the stock market. The stock market's kind of fallen down. Nvidia's pulling back, and Google as well. So yeah, just 2 days in a row they've been down. And the strange thing is, we're correlated again with stock markets. That hasn't happened in a while. Like, the dollar too has been dropping. Like, you can pull that up as well. Don't get me started on the the U.S. national debt. We are right around $50 billion away from 35 trillion, guys. Don't forget. But yeah, the dollar, right? So the dollar's just kind of been slipping for the last 3 months, just making more of a lower downward trend. So yeah, I say this on my stream all the time. I don't think we're going to touch 106 again this year. I think it's done. We got to print all that money, right?
Yeah, those are some great points you're pulling up. I'm glad that we're discussing some of this. And my thing is, hold on a second. Let me. My thing is, recognizing what's going on in the overall market. We're going to pull this up for you guys just for a brief moment. Let's see here. So I think you got a little bit of echo going on. Let me just mute you for a second. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, no worries. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this up. You're going to see this straight from coinmarketcap.com. You guys, typically go there quite a bit. But, why do we share some of these things with you guys? Well, basically speaking, it's understanding that we are kind of shifting almost there to the greed part of this fear and greed index. Some of the things that crypto Otaku basically, just pointed out, which is, in my opinion, very, very valid. But I want to take you over here to this particular part. And what is crucial is, yes, this is from the weekend, but, do we get the whole thing of supply headwinds, and will they continue like it says? Or could we see green, in the market for a change? So this Q3 rally, are you on board? All right. So here's the thing. It did seem like cryptos could catch much of a break, like it mentions, but at one point, at least last Friday, futures markets priced in 99% odds of a rate cut in September. Here's the citation we're talking about. We always reference, basically speaking, Bloomberg. And what you'll see here, is some things that are just worth noting. Again, back to some of the visuals that you saw from crypto Otaku, right? So with inflation, softening, the rate cut outlook is improving. Risk assets basically soared everywhere. And, you saw some references from S&P 500, Dow Jones, and so on. We saw some of the coins that we have up. I mean, XRP way up, right? That 7-day chart was way, way up, which was cool. But the other thing is understanding the concept of price action basis. Now, what I mean by that is, while we do recognize that this is one of the healthiest weeks for the crypto markets in recent memory, doesn't mean that the coast is clear. So don't go all in. Everybody's pay attention to what's going on with the whole thing of Mt. Gox. And I do want to talk about this for a second, especially with Crypto Otaku, and that is
Oh
Mt. Gox.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
been a nothing burger, right?
Well, here's the thing: that liquidation, right? The headwind still persists, like it says, and it's accompanied by ongoing concerns that BTC miners will sell as their mining costs exceed the current BTC price. Now, as we get further into the outline tonight, guys, I have a special section in regards to BSV and what was specifically mentioned, I believe, today. Yes, that's right. Today's news in regards to BSV, Terranode, and why Terranode is exclusive to miners. That sounds bizarre, but we're going to get to that. But it's this statement: how renewed fears have emerged about the German state of Saxony. If I'm not pronouncing it right, but potentially unloading a large quantity of Bitcoin seized early this year. So, is the liquidation headwinds going to come front row center? Are we going to see liquidation headwinds last much longer? This is some of the key takeaway that I want to have with you. We'll continue through this outline here in a bit. I'm going to come back into the frame, pull Crypto Otaku into it. And if anything, let's talk about this for a second because people want to know. Thought I'd pick your brain about this. So what are your thoughts in regards to all of this? The liquidation, Mt. Gox, is it a big nothing burger like you said, or is there something really going on with this?
Well, I mean, according to what BlackRock's been buying in, right? So I had that actually pulled up on my screen. So we had Bitcoin price climbed to 65,000, and then when it did that, Mt. Gox said 48,641 Bitcoin, valued at $3 billion, right? So just in the last, if I can find it. Sorry, guys, it's not my
no worries,
not my element. Jesus.
Just to show you guys a little bit what we're talking about, we'll share a little bit more on the screen while you pull that up.
Yep.
This is what we're citing here, guys. A lot of you guys have been paying attention to what's going on with this whole thing of Mt. Gox, and while that's fine, I mean, understand that those guys need to get paid back. I mean, this is something that's existed since 2014. We know that Jed McCaleb, when he was back with Ripple, I believe that was going on. Of course, he's with Stellar, but they do need to get paid back. 81% of the overall crypto market is basically Bitcoin, Ethereum, with the larger dominance into BTC. So what happens when they finally get paid? My thing is this. I want to state this for a moment, okay? Is understanding that, it's like picture giant, oh my God, like the biggest pool of liquidity ever. And then to have that all of a sudden have to funnel in to these people that have to get paid. We get it. Maybe it's not 50% of these people just sell that Bitcoin. Maybe they go to alts. Maybe a lot of things, right? But again, this is what will tank the market something fierce. So my thing is this, these oh crap moments of, do we drop down to 47K? Will it go further down from there? Will a large percentage of these people do this, that, and this? They put in alts. These are all things that are totally worth pointing out. So I just want to get a little bit into that. While you're pulling up whatever you're pulling up, the other thing I want to get into was basically speaking. Yes, we understand the whole thing of this concept of the rumor mill. Obviously, we're talking about it, but for you guys that are here tonight, it's a timeline. And what does that timeline suggest? Well, it definitely suggests liquidation headwinds will ease significantly by early August. We're almost there. We're basically almost there. This makes sense to investor plays. In my opinion, this makes sense to me. This is why I want to share it with you guys. A little bit about Mt. Gox, just for a tad bit more. Creditors and Saxony, if you pronounce that the right way, I could be pronouncing it wrong, do not want to drag out their liquidations. They want to sell their BTC. They want to get their cash. They want to pay the creditors and move on. This is not something they want to last forever. Right. I mean, good God, look how long it's been. Rather, they want it to be done as quickly as possible. And my thing is this. All right, even if we pull back further, people call us more of another bear trap, like a second bear trap. Let it happen. But once it's done, we should have clear sales moving forward. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can follow this just like anybody else. especially when you get these statements. And I'll read this one for you guys as well. The process has clearly begun. Obviously, a lot of these holdings have already been moved on to exchanges. True, suggesting they're getting ready to sell. We can't imagine the full sales process will last much longer than a few weeks. In that regard, I mean, again, August is right around the corner. So both Mt. Gox, Saxony selling a little bit each day. And just to show you this other citation, I did share this chart with you, my friend. It's basically like this, guys. When they do all this and it's done, finally, guys, it should couple with strengthening demand. You read that right. Tailwinds to create a powerful crypto rally. This is why I'm bringing it to you guys. It's been a while since we citated the whole thing of basically investor place, but perfect timing, in my opinion. And here's what we should all consider. Even in the past week, with Mt. Gox and Saxony liquidation, fears front and center, Bitcoin ETFs saw their best weekly inflow of money since early May. I said that, I'll say it again. Since early May, spot Bitcoin ETFs took in $882 million during the week, ended, of course, July 11th, according to JP Morgan data. Now, this part's a little blurry. I won't get so much into that, but investors buying this dip, even with all the fears, the demand is still there, like it says. Jumping down into this part, they feel as though there's going to be some, enormous demand that will couple with the whole thing of supply headwinds. And I know I said it in the past, or stated in the past, that, they feel as though that we could see 100K BTC by June or July. We've already been there, didn't happen. But could this finally be the path forward to 100K BTC? And their technicals show that this is a real possibility. So here's where I'm going with this. I'll read this as well. And then I definitely want to get Otaku's heads up about this and what you found, because I share this chart with you. BTC, guys, appears to be turning a corner just below its important 25-week moving average. If BTC moves higher here and retakes that moving average around 61K, this setup would be technically similar to September 2023. That's worth pointing out, when basically BTC briefly dropped below its 25-week moving average and then retook and soared from 30K to 70K. This is why I'm talking about it. This is why I love having Otaku in the show, because you talk about this stuff all the time. Here it is, cited from Bloomberg. Long-term technicals improve. If BTC can reverse higher here and retake that 25-week moving average at 61,600, that would be technically very bullish for BTC investors. So I share this with you. I got to hear it from you, man. I want to know your 2 cents in regards to this, and I'll have you somewhat come back into the frame here in a moment.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I got thrown off because the article I pulled up was in dollars. I don't measure this stuff in dollars, guys. That's trash. It's trash. We don't measure it in dollars. So it's $3 billion. I had to do a little bit of moon math. So it's roughly around 47,600 Bitcoin that Mt. Gox is dumping off, right? And there's a lot of talks about that actually not even being dumped off. They're talking about estimated 80% I see in an article today could just sit, could just stay in Bitcoin. So even if they were to sell all that off, that's 47, even half of it, it wouldn't even come close to what BlackRock's been buying since this whole entire narrative started. Man, they bought, 20,000 Bitcoin just this week, and that's just BlackRock alone. That's one ETF.
Right? Yeah, that's huge.
One ETF. And so that's one piece of the puzzle. We also have, of course, Germany as well, right? So Germany has also been dumping up Bitcoin, and that's actually a smaller drop in the bucket. That's only 3,800 roughly Bitcoin there, and they're already done, right? And we're still sitting at the lowest on the year Bitcoin on exchanges, not of all time, but in the longest amount of time, 2.46 million are left on the exchanges for Bitcoin. It's crazy. It's crazy where we're headed. And what we have left, 8 billion people have to fight over 4.6 million. I can't stress that enough with how insane that is. And that's just one coin, man. There's so many other coins to be bullish about as well. But that's the granddaddy coin. It's the one you got to pay attention to for the biggest key indicator in our space.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to leave that up for you guys for a bit. This is what we're talking about, just in case you're, just connecting. Leaving that up on the screen for just a moment. We're going to read some comments. I know we're out of the frame, but I want to put some emphasis on what we're talking about. Again, if you're just connecting, want to thank Vibra Finance for being here. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I know we got disconnected, or?
No, we're still here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just leaving that up there for everybody just connected with see what we're talking about. So, Viber Finance says, let's go. I guess I'll take that off for just a brief moment. Have us come back into the frame. But yeah, glad to have you here, Viber Finance. We got Richie Rich in the house. He said, awesome room. Otaku.
Yeah, man. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. So the reason why I go by Otaku is because I'm OG Otaku. You know Otacon from Metal Gear Solid?
Been a while, but you know that was some of the first Metal Gear Solid games I played was on PSX. So.
Yep. There's a scene in here where he's explaining why he's called Otaku, and basically everything I love is from Japan. So that's kind of why I just adapted.
Makes sense.
The name.
Makes sense why you're invested in JASMY. Yeah.
Of course, JASMY is part of Japan.
Yeah, we did JASMY coverage yesterday. I know some people want every day, but you know, trying to recognize some.
It's hard, man, and you do the best out there in terms of unearthing a lot of that information. It's incredible where JASMY's headed, especially with, my God, with Panasonic and everything else. We could talk about JASMY for the whole damn stream. It's insane.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Let's also welcome the Verse. Crypto Banner said BTC might drop. That's the biggest buy signal ever. Yeah, that's what he cited. What was going on from Jesse KR Finance. So I'm glad you're recognizing that. Just read a few more comments. Let's see here, Mr. Colt Mander. Maybe from the Colt Dow coin. I don't know. Nice mask. Be careful of quantum computing. QT Dow.
Yes. I don't want the AI pulling on my pupils.
Right.
Especially if WorldCoin goes live. Oh God.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see here. Let's read this from Loco Toe. Wow. Okay. The Crazy Toe. That's interesting looking avatar. Welcome. Glad to have you.
What?
Always welcome newcomers, guys, when you see them or her or whatever. We got Goo God, the Degenerate Alien PTGC, Crash Rico. They look all as cool. What is that behind you, by the way, with the hands?
Oh, wait, me?
On the screen. Yeah, the guy in the blue.
Oh, yeah. That's actually Mr. X from Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage. I used to play that back in the day. Yes, that was fun.
Sega Genesis.
Right. Yep. All right. He says, let's effing go. Loco Toe, you as well. Israel Valenzuela, thank you for being here. All right. Let's read this. Viber fan that says, I'm a JASMY Maxi now. You cover a lot of things. I don't think you're complete Maxi, but that's cool, Viber. Glad to have you. Guys, give Viber Finance a follow if you haven't done so already. He does great deep dives and, you know, great channel, great material. Let's read this as well. Corbin, I've been buying XRP and Theta. Okay. Just heard they lost the case and gave up with BSV. Probably deeper than that. My thing is this: we understand the whole thing of what's going on with, you know, Craig Wright, and you know, the latest report also was, you know, he is banned from saying that he's Satoshi in the UK. Basically speaking, I'm still going to focus on the tech. That's where it's at for me. But I'm going to show you again as we get more into the outline tonight why that is. Let's read this also from Tim Shea. BlackRock and Michael Saylor or Salyer, I should be Saylor. We'll just buy those BTCs up. Yeah, that's a typo. Yeah, I think you're talking about Michael Sayers' typo. Let's read this from Ron Stalzer. Craig Wright is a psyop to keep people away from BSV.
Ooh.
So one way of putting it. And I like your avatar on that skyline. That's awesome. Greta Thunberg. Anyway, how dare you put that on the back of a taillight? Anyway.
How dare you?
Yeah. I'm not in Onyx Coin. I know that I get a lot of requests to cover it. You guys know me. I mean, I cover consistently over 10 different ones. There's some guys that are killing it with the coverage, and that's cool. I don't think it's a bad project. I'm just not personally invested into it. Once I become that, you know, that type of person, maybe I'll start covering it. I don't know. I mean, I have Chainlink. I don't cover Chainlink. Why don't I cover Chainlink? Don't like the community consistently going after QNT. Some people requested me to cover ICP. I won't state the guy's name, but you guys know who is one of the faces of that community, don't like that either. I'm a community guy. That's not my thing. So I believe in ICP. I think it's great, but there's some things that I own they just simply don't cover, and that's where it's at. I can't cover everything. Only so
There's
much
too
time in
many
the day.
coins, man. I was
Yeah.
gonna actually one of my questions I was gonna ask you. How many coins do you hold?
About 67.
What? Oh, you're 2 away from the best number ever. What? Come on, Max.
Oh, two. I get what you're saying. Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, that's funny. All right, so River's in the house. Glad to have you. Let's also welcome back Dwight Von Tress, the most glowing avatar in all of crypto. You and your girlfriend, you and your wife, I don't know. I mean, you don't have to disclose that, but thanks, Dwight. Welcome back. He bought more Byte.
Yeah.
Nice. Glad to hear it, man. I'm looking to get more Byte as well. It's my choice of memes for this year. But yeah, it was the first meme token I bought since 2022, so I was glad for that. There's going to be a few more comments. Crypto Holmes 777 in the house. Good to see you, brother. Joseph Watson, what's your thoughts about AVT on 6 million supply? I don't have any thoughts on that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Are you aware of that? I don't know.
No.
That's okay. All right, let's see here.
Too many coins.
Yeah, too many coins, too many tokens. All right, definitely in Onyx Coin and Dipius are hidden gems, says Joseph. Okay. Cool stuff. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Let's go ahead and share it once again. It's going to have to, with all the cameras and stuff, I'm actually surprised how well I'm able to navigate this, which is cool. I just want to put a disclaimer out real quick. Please give Crypto Otaku a follow on his platform. It's the same for both X and YouTube as far as, crypto. What is it? Hold on a second. Yeah, the Crypto Otaku. So if you're on X and you're not using YouTube, vice versa, give him a follow. But here's what we're basically talking about. And I'm going to put it back up on the screen. I'm going to full screen this again. Let's get into the weeds about this a little bit more. Why are we talking about this stuff? Well, basically, like you see from the Investor Place report. And by the way, thank you so much to everybody connected. I have 124 on the combined stream on X and YouTube. Not too bad, considering we're talking about things that we haven't talked about in a while. So are we truly cautious? Are we close to seeing a pop above 61K? Well, like it says, it's about retaking that 61K mark for BTC. It's about seeing the push towards 62, 63K, and so on. But they state from Investor Place, if this happens, and you got to keep in mind, these guys specialize in data analytics. We used to work with the LA Dodgers, and what was the other one? The Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm going to listen to some of these analyses, right? So if we start to see green shoots, as they would call it, for a powerful Q3 rally in cryptos, especially if it happens simultaneously to news that force BTC liquidations, this is going to be big, right? Massive rally. If this happens, they feel as though it will converge in August. It might not happen. Again, it's not a crystal ball that they have, but they base it off of previous cycles and recognizing what happened last time. What was it? September 2023. But you read that right. Massive rally. That's their thoughts, at least. And this is why they're sticking with their cautious optimism now, and why they feel as though they're ready to become full-blown bullish. You heard that right. If we see basically a few more things go their way within the next few weeks. So I'm going to stop the share on that. I was wondering, Crypto Otaku, if you had anything more that you wanted to share, thoughts, opinions, concerns in regards to a little bit of TNA.
Yeah, so particularly so in August, wait, that's coming right up. All of our policymakers are going to be gone, right? They're going to go on vacation, right? And Fed's not going to even have a meeting, no CPI meeting. So I really don't see anything really holding us back. But that too, the stock market could just go on vacation even longer. I mean, most of them just came back though from 4th of July. I don't know. I think I really don't think there's much holding us back unless the Fed has to come back early and intervene with because they did get it's a little bit of a spike in the unemployment rate. So you could probably take a look at that as well as being maybe a narrative to play. But Yeah, I don't really see too much standing in our way. And well, Bitcoin Nashville depends on how that goes. And I did want to kind of get your opinion on that too. What do you think Bitcoin Nashville? Well, okay, so the narrative right now is that Trump's going to come out. He's going to be pushing Bitcoin, and the question is he going to say, are we going to back the U.S. dollar with Bitcoin, right? And what's your opinion on that? Because there's a lot of mixed opinions on whether or not that would be good for the U.S. dollar or good for Bitcoin, vice versa. Because we could have Bitcoin basically replace the petrodollar, and it'd be like the same thing over and over again. If you guys have checked out Whitney Webb and Mark, I forget his name. They just had an interview about this particular thing. I thought it was a really interesting topic. Because that could really change the whole narrative for Bitcoin and the US dollar.
Yes, that narrative in itself. So the way I look at it is like this, bottom line for me is, when we talk about physical gold, and banks, whether it is New York Federal Reserve and so on, they keep on reserve a bunch of gold bullion, basically. And to my knowledge, they also do it for other countries, especially like G7 countries and so on. Well, do you need that to move very fast? No. I mean, if gold is a store of value and BTC is supposed to be supposedly a store of value, then from that hypothesis, that would make sense that would be a positive catalyst moving forward for the United States. Okay, as far as store of value. And I also get the narrative in regards to Michael Saylor saying, you're not, he has friends from New York and lives in Manhattan that, you're not going to take a piece of this, skyscraper, tear off a chunk of it, and then have a cup of coffee out of it, right? Okay, been there, done that. And I remember when you were on Rob's stream, shout out to our brother Rob, Rob Mass, you weren't in the stream, but you're in the comments. And this is what Rob and I brought up last Saturday on his show was, okay, so the original Bitcoin white paper, all right, peer-to-peer cash system. That narrative, what Michael Saylor is saying, does not follow that white paper. Now, is there still value in regards to BTC in that narrative as far as store of value? Well, yes. Clearly, it looks like there is. But as far as this whole thing of a peer-to-peer cash system for like cross-border payments and so on, give me a break. There's no way, right? So what I want to talk about with you guys is this. Since 1971, give or take, since Nixon took us off the gold standard, it's just been an endless money printer situation. Our dollar is not backed by anything. Crypto Otaku, right, gave you guys that thing at the beginning of our outline tonight, showing the national debt. Where are we at, Otaku? 34 trillion?
34.94. I mean, we are just a hair away, a butt hair away. 34.944 to be precise. And beyond that as well, we also are liable for, and not too many people talk about this, we're liable to pay out Social Security of over 27 trillion. It's like how, so you tack that on. It's like how do we ever get out of there? And
how do we ever get out of it?
$1 trillion debt in debt in the the interest rate, the interest payments alone. On the debt.
So my thing is recognizing that, well, if Bitcoin is the answer, and notice I'm talking about BTC, we'll get more into BSV later, here shortly, actually. So if BTC is that store of value, apparently, okay, so that answers a want and a need that needs to happen in regards to our US dollar at least being backed by something. Where I have issues is these cycles. So if we back it by this and we have a dramatic cycle that will happen again, that's the problem. Now, some people say, well, you don't have to worry about that because the next big step forward is what? It's regulation. So that would put a hamper on things being extremely volatile. Is that what El Salvador is already betting on, Otaku? Seems like it, right?
Pretty much. So, they're buying one Bitcoin a day.
Yeah, so, some people say, well, that's El Salvador, and they're technically still a, third world country, yada, yada. I mean, that's here or there. But my key thing is I still am not going to dismiss what other countries are doing, and also at the same time, back to what you talk about, as far as like Saudi Arabia. I mean, they're not. The United States dollar is not the exclusive choice anymore for the concept of the quote unquote petrodollar. So now you have other choices. It's not that they got rid of the US dollar, it's just no longer the exclusive choice. That is an issue because, again, dominance. Then you see what's going on in the market, and what do we see still with the market? BTC and Ethereum are still 81% of the market dominance. So it's like, damn it. It's like we can't get out of our own, we can't get away from this topic, right? So it's a lot to get into. We'll have to see what happens and so on. But I'm gonna read.
I mean, I could talk
comment.
about that forever. BRICS nations,
Yeah.
and what's going on with CBDCs in their countries, and crypto between Russia and China. I mean, it's crazy.
I agree.
The conspiracy is never ending.
Yeah, I'm gonna read just a couple more comments after this. We're actually going to get into the next part of what we have, which basically is BSV. I do appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys being patient with some of that. But yeah, we're gonna get into that in just a bit. Let's go ahead and highlight a couple comments. Tim Shea once again shared your channel, so thank you for that.
Oh,
Tim.
Damn! Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm tickled to be here. Actually, I still can't believe I'm here.
Well, yeah, it won't be. I'll have you on again sometime, man. It won't be the first time. So, I mean, unless you're like,
Sure.
Max, I'm you know what I mean? So,
yeah, Max is evil. I'm not coming back.
Right? I'll be the one with the mask and all looking all.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, you're gonna be my doppelganger.
Right. All right, so we got Dumb Money says full blown bullish. Cool. So you like what you see with that report. Bullish Choices says, hey Max community, glad to have you. Bullish Choices, welcome back. Guys, I just want to state this. I really appreciate the numbers that we have tonight. Way better numbers on X than YouTube. Only about 36 on YouTube, but a combined total on with X is 139. Not bad considering this is stuff that we don't normally talk about all the time, and that's we can't just cover the same thing every day. There's other things to talk about, and I do appreciate you guys being here. We also got Southwest NZ. He says, why the mask? You want to give an answer in regards to
that? So obviously it's great to have anonymity, right? So I don't want to be out there and showing my eyeballs and having the AI scan my eyeballs and might get my identity and maybe taking my wallet. Who knows how crazy it's going to get in the future? We don't know.
How about this?
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
But also it's kind of a calling card to one of my favorite anime characters, Char Aznable, or the Char clone, if you will, from Gundam. So that's why I wear it.
All right. So you ready for this, Southwest NZ? You ready for it? How about this? Are you into Shiba Inu? And if the answer is no, then no, I'm asking him. Southwest NZ, I welcome you, Southwest NZ. So how about this? I'm sure there's at least some project. All right. How about yourself? Why no avatar? Southwest NZ. Why no avatar? And how about this? Are you into Shiba Inu? Shaitoshi Kusama. He doesn't show himself. So, this is not something that's uncommon, you guys. All right. That's all I'm saying. All right. Dennis Leal is in the house. He says, Bank of International Settlements, Finternet. Every country been printing money. Bank of International Settlements pushing Finternet will force a end to money printing. Fractionalized banking is the hurdle they have to figure out. That's a great statement. Your thoughts on that, actually?
Yeah, I mean, they have to survive, right? This is the last call for banks to survive, and that is, of course, custody and crypto. And as we saw with the fiasco we had with the SAB 21 bill, we've been watching that pretty closely. It's just a mess. I couldn't believe the just outing the Democratic Party with McHenry, and of course that was the envelope being brought into his presence. Yeah, and they're very clearly they shout out that they're making backdoor deals with 2 or 3 banks. I mean, this is not how democracy runs, but this is the world we live in. This is what we're seeing on the grand stage. It's crazy. It's like a story. You wouldn't believe it.
So my thing is, we're going to leave this up for a second. I want to talk about this with you for a brief minute. So we just talked about the whole thing of like, would the United States shift towards, having BTC or dollar backed by BTC? Okay. Back to this statement from Dennis Lill, that the Finternet through the Bank of International Settlements would force an end to money printing. I cited with you guys, not just tonight, but numerous times, these reports from Investor Place. And the reason why I do that is for we can have an idea of where the market's going and so on. It's like we used to do the whole thing of a weekly update. I would come on roughly Monday with you guys and so on. Hey, real life gets in the way. But my thing was, there's a particular gentleman from Investor Place. His name is Luke Lango, and he has pointed out numerous times that, in his opinion, based off of data, previous market cycles, so on and so forth, that, BTC is not a hedge against inflation like the narrative is, but a hedge against money printing. So does this pound it home that much more of what Francisco Dennis Leal is talking about? I think it is. I absolutely do think it is, because I think you're spot on. Fractionalizing banking is a hurdle they have to figure out. Right. And recognizing what the heck is going on in the United States. I mean, we're in so much more debt than most nations. There are other nations that are in debt, but why not have some kind of legitimate solution? Some people say, well, that's too centralized from the Bank of International Settlements. I get that too. But, we have to have standards. We have to have proper regulations. They are going to be part of that bigger picture, that bigger mix, whether we like it or not. I get it, guys. Nobody likes the concept of control. But
what's your speaking of which, hate to intervene, but what do you think about Japan in particular, with it, it being at negative 300% debt to GDP, and the amount of U.S. treasuries they hold, right? So that could be coming right back to us as well. And I'm curious as to what that would do to the economy in Japan, and ours as well.
Well, this is why I think that Japan is going so gangbusters on Web3, because they missed the boat on Web2. So, and they realize that they have depopulation, or like their population is decreased dramatically, right? So they have to create incentives for people to even come to Japan. Not as if they didn't have enough anyway, as far as like what you and I are into, as far as like gaming and so on, but like other incentives, right? Like, we're seeing talk of, for example, tourism, people going to Japan, but not just going there for tourism. They're literally encouraging people, look, come here, please stay here. And if anything, go forth and multiply in Japan, create some new citizens, right? I mean, let's just be blunt about it. But it's all focused on this new society of, Society 5.0, smart cities. So their thing is they're all in. It's just like a bunch of chips. They're pushing everything towards Web3 and so on. And that's how they are going to get out of the hole and then going forward. I mean, what a time to move forward. I mean, it's recognizing, their policies is not like ours. Let's just be honest, where you have both parties 100% behind the whole thing of we have a common goal. I always use this analogy, Otaku, and that is it's kind of like a motion picture. It's like a big Marvel movie and so on. You have your executive producers, you have your directors, you have everybody, whether it's even on the low end, like a dolly grip and so on, and extras, you name it. But everybody has bought into the common goal that we need to make this darn high budget motion picture. Well, in Japan, that's where it's at. That's the concept, right? So that's how they turn it around. But here, we're not even quite at that yet. Like, we're just even talking about the whole thing of, well, are we going to get a pro crypto president? Could very well be. And just because he comes in, guess what? Guess how that works, right? We have to have both parties in the house to rule on things and be in agreement. Can't be fighting against each other. So it's embracing innovation. I think that in the background we are there. Maybe from a retail point of view, it doesn't seem
well,
like
we
that.
saw that with the SAB 21 bill when they revoked the veto, right? They voted against it. Well, the president had to veto it because it was passed originally, right? So I feel like we're already there. We have a bipartisan crypto narrative for the whole space. I think there's enough lobbyists on both sides of the aisles. I think it's there already. It's just going to be ushering in the chain of command, getting a president there that's going to push it. And you know what? I feel like Trump has been the most tame I've ever seen him this campaign run. Like I've been surprised. I'm not a big fan of Trump. I'm just going to make that very clear. But I've been surprised since the very beginning of this that he's kept a level head and not done anything crazy or silly or nonsensical. Like the Twitters have kind of stopped and all that sort of thing. So maybe that's a good. I'm pro RFK. I really wish that he would be able to take the cake, but not after this current agenda we have now.
Well, you never know. Maybe it's 2028. I mean, that's how it works out sometimes.
Yep.
We could go back in history and even recognize that from even with Reagan, was it the 76 election, and then when he came into 1980, it's just like, okay, now it's his time. But anyway, just going to read a few more comments. Then we're going to kick it into the BSV outline for the night. We want to respect Crypto Otaku's time that he has here. Let's see here. We got Southwest NZ. Your picture was on the screen already. You're into Shibtoshi's Squigro token. Okay. He also says Japan's selling their debt for gold, and their president vowed to be the leaders of Web3. Yeah, I agree with you on that in regards to Prime Minister of Japan making some of those statements. All right, Dennis Leal centralized the most overestimated narrative in crypto. Jamie Dimon or Larry Fink wants to be able to pick up a phone when there is a problem or a concern and talk to Brad Garlinghouse or Gilbert Verdon. I love it, man. Great way to look at it. And with that said, I know what you meant. It's all good. He meant decentralized, excuse me. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into this. Let's go ahead and pull this up. I think I'm going to take off some of that branding that's near your head because you don't need that. Let's go ahead and present this. So I'm going to get just a little bit of branding for people can know where we're at. Also helps me when I chop up the videos later on and so on. So here we go. BSV coin because it's straight up and down all this time. Crypto Otaku didn't realize that he had a BSV logo hoodie, right?
So about that though, yeah. So the Bitcoin logo particularly,
it's just a joke.
Remember,
man.
Craig Wright actually went through all of this to get the what was it, the rights to Bitcoin, right? So that he could actually.
No pun intended. No, the rights. Yeah.
Exactly. Basically, he went through all of that just to get the brand awareness and everything. But yeah, I mean, everyone else is still representing Bitcoin. This is a Pez dispenser that Pez put out, particularly. Still, like, everyone's kind of not really paying attention to the angle. And I know what you're talking about, like Bitcoin Cash going to the left and Bitcoin going to the right and BSV center. But yeah, I don't think it really in the public eye all the branding, like I got a Bitcoin
I think you're saying it doesn't matter to the public. Yeah.
Orange pills. It doesn't
public.
matter to the normies,
Yeah.
I don't think. No.
Right. So we're going to do now is going to jump into this. It was a big update that happened, but before we get into the actual update, I do want to cite this from Francisco Dennis Lil, this guy right here. He's part of our community. He shared this with me a while back, and I didn't have a chance to share it. It's going to be pretty cool to pound home the coverage that we have. So if you're watching the chopped up version of this later on, I just want to advise you to please stay to the end of the outline. We're going to get into why this matters so much and some of my findings, and of course with our special guest, Crypto Otaku. On our live show, it's called From BTC to BSV. Is the market finally going bullish? But more in particularly, are we talking about this whole thing of BSV? What was dropped? What was the big update? So a lot of you guys have been paying attention to what's going on with Terranode, but we're going to jump into this first. Again, please smash the like, stay to the end of that one. You'd be glad you did, especially if you hold BSV, or if you're the type of person you're like, I don't know about BSV, but you want to learn a little bit more. This is right up your alley. So we're going to jump into this. Let's go ahead and share this on the screen. Again, this is from Francisco Dennis Leal, part of our community. And basically speaking, the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is I want you to understand some of the things that are mentioned here. So that's Francisco, top left. And, it says from BSV Blockchain, Jonathan Allen from Amazon Web Services, right? He is, if you're wondering, the director of enterprise strategy. He led a workshop at the Amazon Executive Business Center in London. Lots of talk about what's going on in London. Okay, you saw Quant there. Obviously, they're stationed there, HQ there, and so on. But it just seems like London is a financial blockchain hub. Let's just be honest about that. So when this thing went on, it provided the BSV ecosystem executives with insights into global digital transformation strategies. You see quite a few different, I'm old school, I call it pound signs, and that is Amazon Web Services on this citation, if you want to call it. BSV Association, you see N-Chain, lots of talk about tokenization, and some other key players that were at this event. I'm going to take you to this next particular part of the screenshot. And it's a little blurry because somebody took it with a cell phone. But again, Amazon Web Services Partner Network Overview. And why was it so important in regards to, this being discussed and so on? So we're going to get into some of that. But basically speaking, I want you guys to understand that we had an update, and it was a big update. So here it is. And like it says right here, gearing up for the Mandela upgrade. Now, I know you guys kind of joke around with the whole thing of the Mandela effect, and that's fine. But it's kind of funny to see some of this stuff like Mandela upgrade, Mandela effect, so on and so forth. So this was published today from this guy named Ryan Brothwell, BSV Blockchain officially unveiled its new Mandela upgrade. It was at DevCon London. That was the end of May 2024, but there's, again, some more updates that was dropped today. So it says, while Terranode overlay services and SPV wallets make up the core of this upgrade, there's several other supporting projects which will also form part of this launch. And he speaks more about this, but here's this quote. We are actively working on the Mandela upgrade, and I'll get into what exactly Mandela is. But I love the statements of that they have Terranode at the core. As we've seen on the last report, Terranode was up to 9 million TPS. Think about it, guys. This time last year, we were at 100,000 TPS for BSV. So this is big news. And getting more into it, we're just going to simply play this 2-minute plus video. Yes, he has a French accent, but I want you to hear this. And then I have another video. It's only about maybe a couple minutes to have you guys understand why this is a big deal. So again, smash that like, listen to this. This is today's update in regards to BSV gearing up for Mandela upgrade. Here we go.
So we are actively working on the Mandala upgrade, which will be a new upgrade of the network topology with Terranode at the core, then overlay services and SP wallets, and obviously to allow developers to use some BSV capabilities. My name is Thomas. I'm a director of utilization at the BSV Association. We take care of the open source development of core infrastructure components to help developers to build on BSV blockchain. What we are doing is that we are actively working on the Mandala upgrade, which will be a new upgrade of the network topology. The Mandala networks are generally constituted of a core node network with Terranode, only dealing with high throughput capacities. And then on top of Terranode, businesses will have the ability to set up their own business environments, what we generally call permission or private blockchains, but this time on top of a permissionless and public blockchain. And then at the edge, a real implementation of the section 8 of the white paper, which is the SPV implementation through a BSV wallet reference implementation called SPV wallet. In order for application builders to use and to leverage the capabilities of Terranode, we need to upgrade the network. This year, we're going to release Terranode in Q4, and Terranode will be only used by miners. We are currently testing Terranode with 6 nodes at 1 million transactions per second. Overlay services will be live in August. SPV wallet is already live in public beta to really allow peer-to-peer communications and let the miners process the transactions and make sure that they maintain the network. So you can go to our website and check the documentation and start implementing your SPV wallet in your own instance.
Okay, I know I got paused right there. I'm going to have you guys go back to this part. I'm going to zoom in for a second, okay? He mentions this right here, and
this is what you do best, Max.
Well, thank you, sir. So here's the thing, guys. Sometimes things fly right past our head. Look what it says on the screen in regards to the mandala upgrade. Terranode, minimum 1 million transactions per second. So this whole thing, guys, all right, I'll come out of the frame for a second. We're into the frame. I want you guys to understand that this is crucial for all of us to learn and so on, is because when you see statements like this of 1 million transactions per second, that's the minimum. There is, when we say BSV has nothing that comes close to this, that is true. That is 100% true. Look, I know I cover like other things like quant and so on. Like we have the M10 where we have scalability, where we can do like, 1 million TPS and so on. But to set your standard at 1 million TPS per second, that's absolute game changer. And the other thing I want to talk about, and I want to get your 2 cents here in a bit, is at the end of the year, they're going to have a full rollout of this. So when we talk about the height of the bull run, again, focus on the tech. Don't focus on this whole narrative of, oh, I can't get into that because Craig Wright did this and Craig Wright did that. Guess what?
Geez, no.
Amazon Web Services could give 2 you-know-whats. IBM, obviously, we saw interviews, guys. Did they bring up Craig Wright? No. So we've been there. We've done that. This is why we point out some of these things. So just real quick, before we get into this next part, because I have a little bit more, I do want to get your own thoughts, because I know that you've been covering a lot about BTC, you're learning more about BSV. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but this is great.
No.
From
BTC,
and again,
I love the technology, underlying technology. It's amazing. It's great. It's wonderful. But the only problem I have with it, right, is the branding, right? The branding, the awareness, and the current narrative, which is, of course, everyone jumping on Bitcoin, BTC, right? So again, I'm totally on board with BSV as a technology. It's just when I look at like trends, when it comes to trends and consumer trends particularly, is that they're going to drive themselves into a certain thing. We saw it with 2021 as well. Like we could see people pick up BSV just because it has Bitcoin in it, right? And they have no idea about the underlying technology, just like they did with Bitcoin Cash as well. So I think once it's adopted, it's on the major exchanges again, because it's still not on Coinbase, right?
It was taken off as of last January.
Yep. So I think once it gets back on there, I mean, just like everything else, once it hit Coinbase again, like you can argue XRP, but it's a whole different story.
Well, that's my whole thing. It's just, like I hold XRP. I'm very bullish on XRP. I hold some of these other ones, but I mean, even on those TPS reports and so on, those averages, I mean, even if, XRP was able to squeeze out 3,000 TPS, which you can't, but let's say that it was able to, their excuse is, well, that's more than enough for bank-to-bank money. Okay. My thing is, talking about Web3, get into the height of Web3 eventually when we get there. You cannot have an instance where you, Crypto Otaku, me, Dennis Lill, Tim Shea, everybody, we all have different problems. Like you had that same user experience as me. You're a gamer, right? So it's like we're playing a game. Do you want to be the guy with lag, but I don't have it? No, everybody wants no lag. Everybody wants the transactions to be super quick. You have to prepare for the oh crap moments of, hey, guess what? We're finally at Web3, and this is the new tech, and everybody else doesn't even come close to this particular technology.
Yeah.
That's what's that for me. Now, I get where you're coming from.
Not anywhere near.
Yeah.
Even Solana, right? Everyone's pushing. Solana's being Ethereum killer this cycle, right? And even they can't even come even close to 1 million transactions per second. And that's
Well,
minimum.
Yeah, on Terranode, they've done as high as 9 million. We have screenshots to show that.
Jesus.
Yeah, but to see that now that is 1 million, I think that's a big deal. The other thing we've done research in the past, and I know you're, this is the first time I had you on, my friend. So if you had a different, good. I'm not going to expect you to know this stuff, but we did some other deep dives, and it also stated that just because retail can have a narrative of like what real Bitcoin is at any given time, kid you not, we cited this in the past. That narrative of what Bitcoin is going from BTC, Bitcoin Core BTC can lose that title of Bitcoin. It could be quickly switched to another one.
You're not wrong there either. The ticker can ultimately be replaced and moved to another blockchain.
This is where I'm like, I did a collaboration with Satoshi a while back, and while him and I don't see eye on eye,
the big question is,
but it's okay.
I hate to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
What would BlackRock do? Like, would this not even matter to them? Like, would you see an entire collapse of the market? Like, if the entire crypto market is basically founded on this one token, now collapses that. I mean, again, I do see BSV having some sort of utility, right? But ultimately replacing Bitcoin, it's just really hard to grasp, right?
We're gonna grasp that in just a second, my friend. But we gotta take a quick pause because we did have a super chat came through, and it's from the one and only
nice
Selmo Fudd. It's been a while, brother, since I've seen you.
Salute.
Thank you so much, Selmo, for the $100 super chat. My God, thank you so much, man. Bullish on crypto, especially when Max speaks facts. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. Selmo was one of the OGs of OGs have been watching me since, kind of like yourself, where it's like, you only got two watching. I don't mean that in a bad way, my friend. I just respect the grind. Yeah, it was him and I think Cody Core, and that was it. And it was just like, doing all these deep dives and trying to bring a great show. And Selmo Fudd was there. So it means a lot, Selmo. My God, thank you so much, man. And I hope you're doing well. God bless you, brother. It means a lot. I can't thank you enough for all the support through the thick and the thin back in the days of the old channel and so on. So, man, you have humbled me tonight, my friend. Thank you, Selmo. All right, we're going to leave that up there for just a bit. We'll leave it actually on screen for a bit. So what I want to talk about with you is this, Otaku. So you bring up a great thing that a lot of people will say, okay? And that is, here's what's going on with BlackRock. Why would BlackRock go through all the trouble of these ETFs and so on? And, and you got your Granny Aunt May or whoever, just whatever name. I heard about crypto and I heard about this ETF. I don't know about crypto, but
You're really nice for setting your grandma up with Bitcoin.
Yeah, right, exactly, right, something like that. So it's like, oh well, no problem, Granny. I'm gonna set you up with Fidelity or BlackRock or whoever. They can be trusted. I mean, my thing is this, okay? I think we do need to shift from this whole narrative that it's only one. So like recently, I covered the whole thing of X payments and the Overledger Quant network and so on. And while that was big news, I want people to understand that, yes, of course I recognize that it's not just going to be Quant network to get that done. There could be Ripple's XRP. There could be, Stellar's XLM and so on. But again, I'm just recognizing that was the first that we actually have proof for a change. Like, okay, I get that, guys. But look, here's what's in front of us. This is what's going to happen. Now, getting back to this topic of you and me. When I was a guest with Satoshi, we talked about this whole thing that, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. I'm not trying to make something super conspiracy theory. There's been a lot of conspiracy
but I love
theories.
Conspiracies.
Exactly. That's another reason why I had it on the show, my friend. So that's cool. So my thing is this. I do think these guys talk in code. And what I mean by that is this. Why wouldn't Larry Fink just come out when he's interviewed on CNBC and Fox News and so on, and just say, yeah, we're going to do a, like a BTC ETF. No, they just say Bitcoin ETF. They always say just Bitcoin ETF. And here's the other thing. Yes, there's recent interviews of him saying just Bitcoin, but there's been interviews in the past where he says Bitcoin for cross-border payments. Huh? Get the hell out of here. No, you're not using BTC for cross-border payments for 47 TPS. So I do want to hear your thoughts, because that's
he also started before the ETFs were launched, right? He legally only could say crypto ETFs. He couldn't say crypto. He couldn't say Bitcoin specifically, the word, right? So there is some legality looped into that as well. But I mean, I'm not against like the whole narrative of possibly well, let's lead everyone into this one thing. Ignore this over here, because that's what BlackRock did from the very beginning. They obviously they were researching and investing into Bitcoin way before it was launched. I mean, they always play the narrative that you don't talk about the one thing that you're trying to purchase. You're only talking about the things wrong with the thing that you want to purchase. So, yeah, I think and Jamie Dimon is a perfect example of that as well. Same narrative. It's used for drug traffickers and money laundering, the whole thing. So
it's cash, right? Cash more than anything.
Exactly.
Give me a break. And then he'll tell his own employees to not own any Bitcoin and then go out and buy a bunch of BTC over the weekend.
Yep.
I don't want anybody to hold this. Okay, why? Because you want to dump
I still can't believe that happened.
Well, it did happen. So as the saying goes, part of my
that was last year, wasn't it?
I think so. But my thing is this. Again, part of my expression here, and that is, were any F's given here? No, he could give 2 F's about retail or anybody. He'll make it look like he cares, but he don't really care. All he cares about is himself and the Wall Street fat cats, and everybody who's been really paying attention to this knows that's the case. I mean, people call that controversy, call it whatever you want. So my thing is this, all right? I just want to state this, all right? This is just my own personal opinion. We can agree to disagree, and I do want to hear your thoughts about this. So when I talk about that, it's not just one particular token, one particular coin that's going to do it. I do think, and maybe this upsets some people, and that's okay. It's just a difference of opinion. I'm just one guy. So back to Michael Saylor. If BTC is your store of value, he just calls it Bitcoin. Okay, maybe it very well could be. I mean, maybe Rob, Crypto Future, some of the other guys where they're saying it's going to go to $1 million or more. Maybe that really does happen as far as only the store of value perspective, because sure as the hell ain't going to get done for cross-border payments for 47 TPS. All right.
Yep.
So if they can label that with that narrative of store of value, then why can't we have that label, if you want to call that, with, cross-border payments? Okay, we're going to use BSV for cross-border payments because, boom, check this out, Mandela upgrade and so on, a minimum of 1 million TPS, and it will continue to scale. This is where Satoshi has talked about in the past of hitting these crazy block sizes where, it's like in the trillions and basically speaking, that, the TPS for BSV, you would scale up to the trillions. Because, I mean, if you think about right now, Otaku, last summer, it was a big deal that BSV was at like 100,000 TPS. Now, with all this talk about Terranode and so on being actually put in into motion, not just like, oh, here's Terranode, but there's nothing connected to it. This is a great example because you have this Mandela upgrade. So I'm glad that we're having this back and forth conversation. I know I got the attention of a lot of people about this. This is good stuff. And again, thank you to our brother Selmo. But we're going to go ahead and get into this next part because now I'm going to show you guys is this next thing. And this is today's news, guys. This is not just a bunch of news from, many years ago, okay? I want you to see this, and I respect that you, sir, with the spooky mask is cool. I like it, by the way. That you're open-minded. That's the main thing, is to be open-minded to some of this stuff.
Well, that's why we're Maximus Crypto and Crypto Otaku, right? We're
exactly
pro crypto. We're not pro just one coin, right? I mean, anything can happen in any space, right?
And I've seen that on your show. You seem very open-minded. If you weren't, why would you be into JASMY? So
exactly.
I'm glad that you do have an open mind. and we're going to get into this. So let's go ahead and share this. Okay, this was not that long ago, June 27th. But again, remember at the very beginning of the outline, I guess you guys can't see that, so I'm going to have to reshare this. So, but at the very beginning of the outline, what did we share from the research from Francisco Dennis Liu, guys? We shared what? Amazon Web Services, right? And how you had these key guys from BSV at some of these events. So look what's on the screen, AWS. Yeah, this is how we have it come full circle. Let's check it out. You guys know me. This is the things I do, right? But I'm glad to have a special guest with us before we can get more into the nitty gritty about this. So
yes,
AWS,
and you're to convert me too, right?
I guess so. I don't know. I was converted by Cool Cat Crypto. He ain't even here tonight. That's all right. You can watch the replay. So look what it says, guys. June 27th, not that long ago. All right, part of the outline. Let me give it a thumbs up. AWS is an Amazon Web Services and Aerospike. I know a lot of you guys don't know about them, but look what it says. Help bring BSV's blockchain Mandela upgrade to life. Again, when we talk about to life, it's not just a retail narrative. What's going on with the institutions and so on. So I'm going to play this. Listen to this. Remember everything that was shared. This will be chopped up, but I'm telling you flat out.
Looks like Chris Pratt.
Yeah, it does kind of look like him. That's crazy. Anyway, Chris Pratt reborn into BSV. But anyway, we're going to play this. It's going to make sense. Listen to why we put so much focus on Mandela. It's going to tell you why and what it is. Here we go.
We need a system that can scale to accommodate a lot of micropayments. My name is Jake Jones. I am the head of infrastructure and business program manager at the BSVA. We call it the Mandela upgrade because it takes the shape of a mandala. It's almost like a fractal shape, but it's in layers. We have the center of the network, which is the node network, and that's the small world network. That's kind of one design. It folds in on itself. And so that same concept applies to the other layers as well. But what's cool about it is it's the same underlying shape. And that underlying shape is P2P communication, peer-to-peer communication. So every level is doing peer-to-peer communication in its own way. It's all micropayments. Micropayments are very small payments. They're less than a cent. But in order to make that viable, we need a lot of them. So we need a system that can scale to accommodate a lot of micropayments. So we started that out with Terranode, where we took SV Node and we split it out into a services architecture. And now we're applying that same concept to the other layers of the network. And one of the reasons we want to do that is we also want to make sure that Terranode is focused on mining alone. Terranode, Q4, and then we have the overlay project that's actually just launched. And we have libraries as well. So we have the TypeScript library, and then we have the Go library and the Python library. All of those things are necessary to both include in the overlay project, but as well as getting more adoption and standardizing things. Then we have the SV wallet that's already out. We're also looking to get a development environment set up, hopefully with Terranode, and that'll hopefully help them test things.
I think you're muted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you weren't here, then I'll be muted the whole time. That would have sucked. Anyway.
I know, man. I've been there, man.
Yeah, it does happen once in a while. But what I was going to state is, guys, here's the key thing, all right? What was the first thing you saw this gentleman mention in the video outline on that quick little 2 minutes about Mandela? It was immediately scalability. So my thing is this. BTC, you don't have that scalability. But, okay, should we look at all of this from a more open-minded way of looking at things? Understand that just because a lot of us may not like Michael Saylor, I don't have nothing against him. But my thing is this. He is a very smart man. He is a professor, all right? I never got up to professor status. Maybe one of these days when I go after my doctorate, it is what it is. After I cash in on some crypto, right, when we made it. But not until then, right? I'm not going to 4.5 more years of college just to get a title, but it would be cool to teach that.
But Max, you really want this? You really want this?
Yeah, I hear you on that. Well, to a sense, I don't think it's going to zero. But my thing is this, right, guys? So you saw the issue about scalability. So back to the topic real quick, and that is whether it's Michael Saylor saying that it's a store of value, digital, what's he call it, guys? Digital property, all right, BTC. digital property. He calls it Bitcoin, but again, digital property. That digital property is still not going to get the job done for scalability and cross-border payments. So we already been there, but done that. So why are we doing this whole thing of saying that it has to just be one? Maybe it is actually two, and maybe that pisses off some people. And I get that. Again, I'm just one guy with an opinion. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm trying to be open-minded, just like Otaku here, about some of this stuff. So maybe that is the case as far as like, because I mean, let's look at it from the perspective of what, Otaku? Let's just not even put in crypto or blockchain or DLT or any of the stuff in the mix. Let's go back to like the 90s, for example, okay? We've all seen Die Hard with the Vengeance. Love that movie, right? And it sucks what's going on with Bruce Willis, by the way. You know, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I cannot believe that.
Yeah. So my thing is this. In that movie, you see him, you know, these guys, what's his name? Hans Gruber's cousin, you know, and his team, you know, dump trucks of gold from the Federal Reserve. Okay. Well, do you need any of that to move super fast? I mean, here's just, again, a visualization. You know, I used to teach, I like to give, you know, visualizations in your head. Like, let's picture this. All right. Do you see Hans Gruber, you know, Simon Gruber? Is he telling his whole team, you guys, to haul up all this gold in F1 McLarens or Ferraris because you got to get the hell out of there, right? Right? Got to get this move across the board to Canada, right? No, that's not what's going on. It's hauled in great big dump trucks, right? So again, I know that sounds like a corny narrative or whatever, but my thing is this. Should we also look at BTC from that point of view, that it doesn't necessarily matter, right? Because it is a store of value. Again, picture all that gold, right, being at that reserve bank, okay? Does it need to really move that fast? No. And if anything, if somebody needs to borrow that money, does it need to move instantaneously in regards to, you know, like, this country's bank to this other country's bank? Not necessarily. I mean, you still have to sign off on some stuff, right? And I understand that maybe people are like, well, that's exactly what needs to happen because it's going to cost too much. And I do understand that part, right? But again, can we have two technologies? That's my bottom line. I'm not necessarily like rooting for BTC, but I'm not rooting against it either. Because at the same time, if the market was to tank something fierce because you lose 81% of that market dominance of BTC and Ethereum, I don't care who you guys are. We're going to have our altcoins absolutely crap the bed, okay? And maybe that happens. I don't know, but I'm trying to understand this just like you guys are as well tonight. So getting back into this real quick, my thing is, you just saw what he presented, Otaku, in regards to this mandala thing, right? Yeah. And, you know, like he also mentioned that only the miners will have access to this. Well, again, back to the whole thing, like, and I get it if you don't follow this, but like some of the Genesis blocks for the original Bitcoin and so on, and, you know, the original miners, what they were doing and so on. It's like, this is all coming full circle now. You know, it's like they could have chose like, no, let's just have everybody on board on this. That is not the case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over to this guy from CoinGeek, all right? Not Crypto Geek, not that guy, not that Mr. Fake News. Okay? Let's share this on the screen. Let's full screen this for a bit. We're going to play this quick little video because from CoinGeek, all the way back in March 21st, 2024, look what it says. Why are network access rules important to you? Director of Stewardship, BSV Association, explains just that. We talked about NAR, guys. Remember NAR? There's a clear definition of rules. This will make sense for the outline. Let's play this. Here we go.
There is a clear definition of rules of what it means to be a miner in Bitcoin, right? So there's the Bitcoin white paper that details what a node's responsibilities are. There are 6 steps in there, but it basically boils down to you collect transactions into a block, you build a block, and you extend the blockchain, right? 95% of what is in this these network access rules is to write that down into a clear terms and conditions, essentially, right? Meaning a node has very specific responsibilities. Per the white paper, there is honest behavior and there is dishonest behavior. There is a...
All right. So that was just basically speaking a quick little outline for you guys. in regards to NAR and those rules. All right. How do I make this make sense for all you guys? Even you yourself, my friend, that are here tonight. I want you guys to understand this. We have to talk about this. And that is understanding that where we could talk about the Michael Saylor narrative with BTC or some of our raw BSV narratives with all this TPS and so on. At the end of the day, where is it really at? It is in the hands of the freaking miners. And if you create incentives for those miners to up and leave your old platform, where it's BTC and so on, and there's a shift to the other one, that is going to be a big problem. And how do we know that's going to be a big problem? For the same reasons why you saw miners leave the formerly known proof of work platform of Ethereum, because here their investment is ASIC miner, and they need to be able to still have value into that. So as a result, they jump ship. Would we see a monumental jumping of the ship, if you will, to something like this? My answer is it could happen. I don't know for sure if it will happen, but my thing is this. You saw in the outline, and we're going to get a little bit more into this because it's not done yet. You know, I'm going to show you my conclusion. But I'm just trying to have everybody understand, whether it's Otaku and you guys and so on, is understanding not just the bigger picture, but supply and demand forces that are at stake here. I want to get your thoughts.
I think that's, again, a great narrative, a good, I mean, I don't know. I'm getting kind of sweaty now, man. I'm like, maybe I should have some exposure to this asset. But I did want to bring up that even Michael Saylor himself, when asked about Bitcoin, right, in all the interviews and everything else, right, I'm sure we've all seen a plethora of them. He's been asked, what would make you change your opinion on Bitcoin? What would you make what would you store your wealth in anything else? And he said something better, right? Right? I mean, nothing more to be said there. And so I'm surprised, we don't get a little bit more of an error than that. I know he's heavily invested. There's no way to really back out at this point. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have some exposure to something with such a true potential when it comes to transactions per second, particularly, and then cross-border payments against XRP in that narrative as well. Like, I think of diversifying your portfolio in enough assets to cover at least all your bases, right? AI, real world assets, you guys know, and I think, this is it might be a safe. It may maybe not a safe bet, not financial advice, but
yeah. Here's the thing. So back to what you just said, right? So I mean, you said XRP, for example. My thing is this, right? Like, I don't want to think that I'm anti-XRP. Of course not. That'd be ridiculous because I hold a lot of XRP and I cover a lot.
So do I.
But here's the thing. It's different use cases. We're not saying that BSV is going to replace the whole use case of XRP. If anything, XRP has its own use case, which is awesome. On-demand liquidity, now known as Ripple payments, is a great solution to the banking crisis, especially here in the United States. Like I keep saying this.
In other countries as well for the CBDCs and all the other stuff.
But the last recession, especially here, right? Like, if you would have had Ripple's XRP fully embraced and fully used and so on, instead of the United States taking on that debt, the government, it's like, Brad Garlinghouse and, David Schwartz, like, hold my beer, ODL, right? That's the whole concept of ODL, so that would have drove up the price of XRP something fierce. And at the same time, like, bailed out the country. That's the bottom line. I don't understand why a lot of people don't understand that. And it's really as simple as that. But again, what are we talking about tonight, man? We're talking about different use cases. Yes, we're focused on Bitcoin. So the way I look at it is BTC use case literally is not much, and it's basically store of value. Why? Because it moves like a freaking turtle. Not even a turtle.
Exactly. And that's where it's ended up, right? That's exactly where it's ended up.
Yeah, so I know we talk about this a lot. We're going to jump into this next part. We got about 2 or 3 things left to wrap this up. And it's been a while since we talked about BSV, but so glad to finally talk about it. Sometimes I think some of you guys, you know, you guys have sent me DMs about this, and I'm like, Max, what the heck, man? You haven't covered BSV. You know, it's not that I don't believe it. It's just supply and demand forces. We've seen a lot of big talk about quant lately, so there's only so much time in my day too. I put focus on it, but we are here today. Special guest, Crypto Otaku, and let's jump into this. This is from Ushi. I highly recommend you guys follow this guy as well. He has BSV Alpha. Okay, so check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and this is old, but I'm gonna retweet this. Okay. Every time, sometimes people wonder why you retweet stuff is old. Watch the show, for crying out loud, and you'll know why I do some of that stuff. So I'm gonna full screen this because I know that we're out of the frame. This was breaking back in February, or was it March? February, excuse me. This is something that you guys may have not seen, but back then, BSV Association was pleased to announce the launch of network access rules. Back to the whole thing I talked about NAR, and I did a deep dive about this, right? I want to pound it home on why it comes full circle. Because it's adhering to the protocol, you guys, the Bitcoin protocol. NAR is a set of rules, back to that video you just saw, regulating the relationship between the BSV Association and the nodes on the BSV network. They are based on the original Bitcoin protocol. Again, back to what? The white paper. Okay? So this is why I citate all this stuff for you guys. So Bitcoin white paper, the public was offered the opportunity to obtain up to 20,999,050 electronic coins in the aggregate if they abide by what, guys? Certain rules, including but not limited to Bitcoin protocol rules and those set out in, of course, the original Bitcoin white paper. This offer is known as the unilateral contract. And does it adhere to the protocol? Yes. Participants in the BSV ecosystem support adherence to the Bitcoin protocol and seek to maintain the vision of the Bitcoin white paper. It is the responsibility of those persons who conduct network activities on the BSV network from time to time, whether individually or collectively. For example, each node. What did we get from the second video of the night? Talked about some of those nodes, did it not, in regards to Mandela? So this is responsibility because it's literally written in the white paper to be in adherence to what, guys? The protocol. A little bit more about this. Network activities in this instance include collecting, validating, or accepting a block, collecting transactions into a block, attempting to find a proof of work for a block, or broadcasting a block. Look at this as well. To achieve a common framework with clear standards and practices for nodes, it's essential this framework embodies in the rules, enabling legal recourse between nodes if a node has breached, of course, the rules. There's more about this, but again, it's all there. So the thing I want to share with you guys, and let me just stop the screen for a second, and we'll have Otaku come back into the stage, is understanding this, and that basically is this. This upgrade, the Mandela upgrade, I want you guys to hear me out on this for a second, okay? So what I've gathered in conclusion is understanding that the Mandela upgrade in itself, including Terranode, of course, this thing called the SPV wallet, and overlay services, we've done some deep dives about the overlay services, is, you better believe it, a significant upgrade for numerous reasons. Hear me on this if everything has went right past your head. It's definitely going to impact BSV moving forward, but understanding supply and demand forces moving forward. Hear me out. On the second video, you saw that gentleman talk about unbounded scaling. Listen to this. The Mandela upgrade is designed to address scalability limitations in traditional blockchains. Aha. Remember how we did all these comparisons? Yes. By using the Mandela network topology, BSV in itself theoretically allows for exponential growth in transaction volume. And to see it scaled literally at a minimum of 1 million TPS is game changer. So forget the whole narrative of if Craig writes Satoshi, it's the tech. This could make BSV more suitable for handling massive amounts of, like the gentleman said, micropayments, which is a key goal for, of course, the BSV network. But if anything, a key goal for just about anybody entering into the Web3 space. Would it be more efficient compared to other technologies out there? The answer is yes. The upgrades separates functionalities among different components. How so? Terra nodes are dedicated to, of course, mining. That creates incentives for them. They get to control what they want to do with whatever mining device they have, right? So while SPV wallets and overlay services handle other tasks, this specialization could improve the overall network efficiency. If we see the oh crap moments, that will come out in these tests, especially with these miners. All right, last but not least, a couple more things I want to get into. Would we see more wider adoption? The answer is also yes. We would see easier to use wallets. We would see what these things are called SPV wallets, but developer tools like overlay services bring this all together. It would definitely make BSV more accessible to users and developers, potentially leading, of course, to what? Massive adoption, wider adoption. All right, quick breakdown in regards to some of this and its components and the potential impact. Terranode, we bring this up all over every so often. Having the whole idea of dedicated mining nodes would definitely free up regular nodes for other tasks. Again, this is why I showed you some of those examples in regards to the NAR rules, okay? Potentially improving the overall network performance. On top of that, this SPV wallet, see how it's all coming full circle. Simplified wallets can make it easier for users to interact with the BSV network. Isn't that the whole point? We can have the greatest technology in the world. If people don't know how to use it, people won't. Just like me playing a video game. I've been playing this game called Headquarters, World War II. I love it. It's an RTS game. I used to hate RTS games, but why am I playing it? Because it's easy to use, easy to understand. Apply that to blockchain technology, guys. It's not rocket science. Last example, overlay services. We covered this in the past as well. Standardized developer tools will streamline development of BSV applications, of course, fostering innovation. But if you have the tech, that is a clear night and day difference compared to the competition, and even Solana's competition, 28,000 TPS, and even something like I hold like Hedera, and I love Hedera, but they're at like what, 28 to 30,000 TPS. You have a 1 million TPS, and that is your minimum for your standard. My God, supply and demand forces will kick in, and you better believe they kick in, because that's how the world works, whether or not the retail likes the narrative. So with that said, I got to know, my friend, what do you think about some of these findings, and are you kind of on board with BSV? And if you're not, that's okay too.
No, I think about it from risk and reward perspective, right? It's a hard fork of Bitcoin, right? 21 million. It's nothing different, right? So we already know the tokenomics. It's just we know it's it's a better technology. It's pretty obvious. So risk reward, you only really have to have what, $46 currently? Isn't it like 45, 40, 48 currently?
For a full one, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it doesn't take much to really get at least somewhat invested in it when you know the underlying tokenomics are exactly the same as Bitcoin. So pretty much after this stream, I'm going to be buying probably about 10 of them at least. Wow.
All right. Well, that's cool, but yeah,
pretty easily. I mean, it's just a simple a risk reward ratio. But yeah, the whole Mandela thing, I don't know. Mandela, like Scarecrow with the gun, or like
the Mandela effect, right? Like, why would they name it that? I'm with you on that. Why would they name it that? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
There's a lot of going with that. Yeah, I want to give Francisco Dennis a little shout out. So like, we follow like things like like this merge. It's was it Ocean? There's Ocean, there's Fetch, and then of course there's Singularity Net. So okay, what's the ticker symbols? Singularity Net, which is from the Cardano ecosystem, right? Net. Okay, let's take the net. What are we gonna do? We're gonna fetch something out in the ocean. I mean, it's just like, what? Like, where did he come up with some of this stuff? But anyway, all right, guys, here's the icing on the cake before we wrap it up. I know you guys think that I just wrapped it up and that was good, but I just want to point this out. This is good stuff, just in case you're just brand new to all this, okay? Here's this report. Check it out. This is good stuff. By the time you have read this, Terranode has processed over 15 million transactions. When was that posted? June 13th of this year. And to pound it home that much more of why Terranode BSV is so significant, is even statements like this, just in case you forgot. And that is, how many transactions per second does BTC basically do? While Visa can process up to 24,000 transactions per second, while BTC can process only 7 TPS. I mean, this is what we're talking about. Okay, the Pony Express of crypto, basically. And that's where it's at for me, my friend. And I'm so glad to have you on the show because you consistently cover what's going on. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Guys, please support people. Yes, in this space. We're going to give you a plug. We're not wrapping up things yet. We're going to get back in the comments, but I want to give this guy a plug. He deserves it. I appreciate the grind because I've been part of that grind. He does daily shows. You guys remember I used to do daily shows every freaking day. And guess what? I got to appreciate the grind. So what if he wears a mask? Let him be himself. I think it looks cool. I might wear a freaking mask for a week for you guys too. What do you think of that? All right. Come on here with Otaku. So
nice.
Yeah. So check us out. Here's his channel. We want to give him a highlight. Crypto Otaku. And here it is. We're going to full screen this a little bit more. Please help him scale up. Let's go ahead and refresh this real quick. Did you hit over 100? Let's see if the answer is yes. Hopefully it is. The answer is yes. You did hit 100. Let's see him get to 110 or 120, guys. That'd be great.
Oh, wow, guys. I have no words.
Yeah, that's a big milestone. I remember when I hit 100 originally. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys for doing that. And then here's the other thing I want to share with you guys. Basically speaking, here's his channel. And we're going to pull that up as well. Crypto Otaku. Like it says, streaming live weekdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Give him a follow on X. He's our special guest today. Let's have you come back into the screen. And Otaku, can you give us a heads up on what you're planning maybe for your next show?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we're planning on, I got a whole bunch of 3D renders of actually like an anime version of me. We're going to go out into the metaverse, particularly VR chat, and just kind of, we're trying to basically reach out to the Zoomers and get their take on crypto, NFTs, and all sorts of crazy stuff that's going on. And yeah, just trying to see like what is their outlook, what is their opinion on what is currently coming in our space, and are they even aware of our space, right? I feel like not enough people are covering that. And I really wanted to bring that to front and center. YouTube, we need to get some coverage on that, and it's going to be kind of crazy and chaotic, and that's what I love.
Well, I'm always learning too, brother. So I can appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. If I don't see it on the live, I'll at least watch on the replay, and try to get that out there, guys. Again, support some of these guys in the space like Otaku. And speaking of a milestone, we did tick up to over 200. We have 30 on YouTube and 170 on X, because X gonna give it to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's definitely going to help you out as well. Let's welcome some of you guys. And again, a big shout out to our brother Somofud for the $100 super chat. That was incredibly kind. You humble me, sir. You rock, Somo. Rocking with the channel, or I should say this community, since April of 2022. So shout out to our brother Samo Flood. We also got OG Crypto in the house. OG Crypto, Mr. Gangster. Why don't you tell me about the days of way back? Absolutely. Having him in the house. And let's see here, River. I think I welcomed you before. Glad to have you back. OG Crypto says, who are these masked men? I'm not masked. Maybe your, like eyes are playing tricks on you, like the Ghetto Boys or something, right? But that's okay. That's funny. And we got Freddie. He says there's been an unknown buyer accumulating over 1 million BSV in the past year or so. Rumor is BlackRock, and it's them basically doing some hedging. Interesting, Freddie. Thanks for sharing that. If you want to be a sideline reporter, all you got to do is, and you're going to see it pop up above Otaku's head here in a moment. All you got to do is give me a follow right next to the top right corner of where Otaku's at DPG Maximus. If we're both following each other, you could tag me and stuff, and when the show's alive, if it's on topic of something we're talking about and so on, I will recognize your chat, and I'll share it with our community, because that's what we are. We're a community of blockchain and DLT research enthusiasts. So I would encourage that. Thank you for some of what you're sharing. We definitely do appreciate all that. Let's get into a few more comments. We have this other one from Freddie. He says BlackRock's terms and conditions For example, Bitcoin ETF states they reserve the right to change. Look at this, guys. Here we go. This pounds. See, people are paying attention. This is what I love about this community. Change and follow whichever chain of Bitcoin they seem the most appropriate to be the most appropriate chain. This is back to, I know some of you guys follow Reggie Milton. Shout out to her brother, Rue Black. He talked about some of this stuff, right? So this, yes, it's there, guys. But again, most of retail don't know about some of these things. So guys, welcome, Freddie. I welcome you to our community. I don't know if you watched the show before, but nonetheless, I like some of these statements. I love seeing some of you guys have taken your own deep dives. I am not preaching to the choir, right? We also got the one only Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk in the house. Good to see you, brother. Welcome back. Email sender, BlackRock, and MicroStrategy would be negligent not to hold all force of Bitcoin. Good point.
I agree.
Especially the one with the highest utility, BSV. Thank you, sir. Thank you, email sender. Great statement. I love this.
Especially after what Mike Seller has said specifically about where he would allocate his wealth as well.
Yeah, great point. Freddie's correct. Just imagine BlackRock allocates a tiny fraction of their 10 trillion to assets in, BSV. Man, you guys are pounding this home. I don't even need to do any more coverage. This is community time. I do appreciate this, guys. Thank you. Freddie Fink understands N-Chain's patents are a real threat, as well as rights rolling icebergs of dumping BTC. I actually want to know your key takeaway from that comment. Do you think that's a real thing as well? Like, do you think that they're more than aware of who's who?
I don't know. I truly don't think. I think Wright had the balls to get out there and prove that he was Satoshi and not have any evidence. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe there's some truth behind it, but I don't want to be that guy to say like.
Fair enough. I mean, again, focus on the tech, right? That's my thing. I'm focused on the tech. I'm not focusing if he's the real McCoy or not. I personally think he is, but that's just an opinion. I don't have solid proof about that. Neither does anybody, really. All right. Imagine if Musk uses BS for micropayments on X. It would be the most suitable blockchain for what is needed on X. Great point. I also shared the whole thing, guys. If you haven't seen the video, it is in the video section. Over Ledger, X payments, not just X. We can make what? Smart contracts for TikTok, PayPal, everything. When we said that Quant is API, everything, we finally see the proof. It's all there. Take a look into it. If you want the short format, check out the one that's just focused on X, about 11 minutes. If you want the deep dive, we got that 2 parts in that regard. Francisco Dennis Lil, Max dropping the knowledge. Thanks, Francisco. Always appreciate you, brother. What Musk and BlackRock do, many others will follow suit. Not to mention smart contracts. Yeah, you get it. Proof of work security. Yep, all that. Let's read this. Shinja, yes, sir. What up, Max? Well, what up? Nice looking haircut on the doggy. And let's read this from email sender. The second to last comment. I think hyper Bitcoinization could only occur on BSV. He also thinks that Jack Liu is correct that it could go from being affordable to very expensive in a very short period of time. Right. Maybe that is another flip of the switch. Maybe it's not just one switch, you guys. Maybe it's multiple switches, like looking at a panel, flipping this one, flipping that one, flipping this one. Why? Different use cases. Let's read this from Freddie. Even 63K per BSV would be cheap if full adoption occurs, of course, with IPv6. And again, that's where BSV really stands out for me, is because, yes, we do have IPv6 even on my NIC card, okay? But even though my NIC card supports that, how do we apply that to Web3? Guys, you know where we're going with that. And, of course, Craig Wright has done numerous examples about that. We're not going to get into the weeds about that tonight. I'm glad you guys are paying attention to some of this stuff. Dennis Lil, BlackRock also invested in Bitcoin mining stocks. Bitcoin mining going to be unsustainable. BSV was subsidized the miners. Yes, and if anything, create more incentives because of what we shared tonight in regards to, Terranode, and the miners will only have access to be able to do that. Here's what's going to happen with the rollout. They're not at a full stage rollout yet. Again, supply and demand forces, oh my gosh, are literally at our front door if we take more of the deeper dive. And I'll read this last statement because I want to respect your time, because I know that you went a little bit longer, and I do apologize for that. Let's read this from Al Del Trio, if I pronounce that right. What do you mean there's no solid proof that he is? The Tulip Trust and the discussion, they don't give billions to people if they're not the correct. Again, I understand that, all right? But if you look at it from the bigger picture, we as a community might feel as though that's the case, but the rulings and so on, and other people from retail, that's what I'm pointing out and so on. But again, we can agree to disagree, and if you don't like my statement on that, that's fine too, okay? I guess we'll just read a couple more. Get some BSV, throw it in the wall, dig it out in 6 to 7 years. Obviously, the course have already agreed previously who he is. Okay. And email center, love your shows, Max. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And with that said, you get the last word, sir. Crypto Otaku. Otaku.
Yes. Otaku.
Right.
So I'm ecstatic to be here tonight. I can't believe you got me on, Max. I've been watching you during the bear market. You got me through. You solidified my faith in JASMY. And yeah, we are only at the beginning of this bull run. In my opinion, it's going to keep going until, who knows, maybe the middle of next year at the earliest, right?
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see how everything goes and so on. I'm more bullish on the end of 2025, but I mean, I get it. Some other things can happen, and that's all we can do. We just have to kind of wait things out. So, guys, just one more time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for welcoming our special guest, who's Crypto Otaku. Check out his
guys.
multiple camera angles that he has on his live show. Lots of eye candy, and I don't have as much eye candy, but that's very, very cool. One last time, we're gonna basically share, give him a plug. Here it is. Here's his channel. All right, and you can follow him at the Crypto Otaku. Let's go ahead and refresh that real quick. Maybe you scale up a little bit. Who knows? All right. I still at 100. So, guys, if you on your way out, give him a follow on YouTube. And also, he could be followed on X. All right. Let's see real quick on X. Let's refresh that. So, let's help him get to at least 100 on X. That'd be really cool. But, basically speaking, I think I already gave you the last word. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we wrap it up completely? For sure.
I really appreciate it, guys. Again, we are in the front of a huge revolution. Like, I am super stoked that we're actually able to be a part of something as big as this, right? Like, we don't have, at least near me, I don't have a large city to go to and be part of something bigger than me. So I think this is it, and we're fighting the good fight, and we're gonna keep on going until we can at least sustain our own wealth and our families as well.
Absolutely. So I do thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the presented material. Again, the whole thing about Terranode / Mandela update will be chopped up later on. And we will see you guys on the next show, which could very well be on the weekend or sometime like Monday of next week and so on and so forth. It's kind of busy time lately. So thanks again. Otaku, if you don't mind, just spend a couple minutes with me at backstage. I need to ask you a couple things, and we're going to end this stream. So thanks again, everybody. Take care. Over and out. Sayonara. Bye-bye.